we have already learned that in the first quadrant, all the trigonometry ratios are positive. In the second quadrant, only sine is positive, which tells us that tan and cos will be negative if it lies in the second quadrant. Okay. In the third quadrant, only tan is positive, which indicates that any value of sine or cos which with the angle which lies in the third quadrant will be a negative. Same thing in the fourth quadrant, only cos is positive. Now, with this, let's see some questions that you will be getting in exam. So, the first question is you have sine x is equal to 1 by 2. You are asked to find out the value of x. The first step that you can do here is you send this sine to the other side, which becomes sine inverse of 1 by 2. Now, if you know the standard angles, we know that sine 30 degree is 1 by 2. So we got x is equal to 30 degree. That's not the final answer. Do understand that uh, for sine, for cos, or for tan, there are two angles which gives you the same value. So that means there is one more value of x for which when I apply sine x of it, it gives me 1 by 2. How are we going to find the other value is it's related to the previous topic that we covered. So we'll just quickly draw a small diagram. Okay. So this is 0, this is 0, this is 90, 180, 270, 360. Now, 30 degree is the angle that lies in the first quadrant. So this is 30 degree. Now, if you notice the value sine x is equal to 1 by 2. 1 by 2 is a positive value, correct? If it's a positive value, there are two places sine is positive. First one is the first quadrant. That's why we got an angle which is in the first quadrant. I need to find one more value which gives me a positive answer. And that particular value has to lie in the second quadrant. How do I find that? Is remember about a reflection. Okay, let's get that concept here. So let's say if this is my mirror line, if this is my mirror line, and I know that sine is positive in the second quadrant, I'm going to do one thing here. I'm going to reflect this particular figure that I have here on this side. So when I reflect it, what do I get here is this is what I get. A same figure like this. Now, we measure angle always in anti-clockwise direction and we always start from 0 degree. So that means from here to here is the angle that I need to find. What will be this angle? Since we applied reflection, won't this angle be 30 degree? But we measure angle from 0 degree. So what will be the answer? It will be 180 minus 30. That is equal to 150 degree. That is the other angle that we need to find. How do we check whether the answer is correct? You can substitute the value of x as 150, see whether it is equal to 1 by 2 or not. It is. Okay, this is how we check. Especially in trigonometry, you have to have a habit of checking the answer. So that means the two values of x at the end you will write 30 degree and 150 degree. Okay, let's do few more questions to understand this concept clearly. Let's say if the question is sine x is equal to 0.4. We will also do it for negative as well. Let's just finish with this. So this will be x is equal to sine inverse of 0.4. You can use your calculator. Make sure that your calculator has a D symbol. Okay. Here in the question, they will mention whether it is in degree or rad. Here it is mentioned that it's in degree. So just do sine inverse of 0.4. See what is the value that you're getting. Okay, I got the value as 23.578 degrees. Let's write the answer in for two decimal place. So 23.58 degrees is what we're going to use the value of x as. Now, notice this. The value of x, the angle that I've got, lies in the first quadrant. It lies in the first quadrant. And here, the sine value that we got is 0.4, which is a positive value. Sine is also positive in one more quadrant other than the first one. That quadrant is second. So let me just draw the figure quickly. So this angle that I've got just now is 23.58 degrees. Okay. Now this is in first quadrant. In second quadrant, sine is positive. I'm going to reflect it. So when I do reflection, understand that this particular line that I have acts like a mirror line. So when I reflect it, what I will get the same figure, this angle being 23.58 degrees. Okay, that's not the final answer. Understand that we always measure the angle from 0 degree. 0 degree is here, and we measure it from this particular line to this point. And what is that angle? How do I find? So if you notice, I can find this angle by doing 180 minus 23.58 degrees. So if I do 180 minus 23.58, I get 156.42 degrees. Okay, let's check the answer. Substitute to check. Substitute the value of x as 156.42. So 156.42 degrees is equal to, yeah, you're getting, see, it won't be exact, it will be near to it. So if you see, if I round off the answer to one decimal place, will be the same answer that I'm looking for. Okay, why it is an approximate value? Please understand that we have round off this particular value. Okay, that's why our answer is a approximate value. It won't be exact. Okay, now we did for a positive value, and let's do it for a negative value. So let's say you have a negative sine of x is equal to negative 0.3. This is my third example. Okay, now let's do sine inverse of this. What will I get here? Sine inverse of negative 0.3, close the bracket. So I got the value as negative 17.457, so on. We don't want so many digits. We'll round off. So I'll see. Make sure that your answer is two decimal place. When they don't specify anything, just give the answer in two decimal place. So it will be 46 degrees. Okay. Now, if you notice, along with the question, they have also specified that the value of x lies between 0 to 360 degree. Now, if you notice about the angle that we got, negative 17.46 is out of this range. It's out of this range. So, what is the other way of doing it is where your anti-clockwise and clockwise concept comes into picture. So, now, negative 17.46 is an angle that we measured in a clockwise direction. That means we're talking about this angle, is what? 17.46. But this is only possible when we measure the angle in clockwise direction. But we do not measure the angle in clockwise direction, we measure it anti-clockwise. So when we measure anti-clockwise from 0 degree, this angle will be, if you notice, this is the angle around a point. How much away it is? It's just 17.46 away for me to make one full cycle. So how do I find this angle? Is it will be 360, because angle around a point is 360 minus 17.46 degrees. Okay, so let's do that. So 360 minus that, I got the value as 342.54 degrees. Okay, now Now, if you notice, this particular angle that we got just now lies in which quadrant? It lies in fourth quadrant. And fourth quadrant is where cos is positive. Only cos is positive, right? Now, we got an angle which is in fourth quadrant. There is one more place where sine can be negative. If I know that sine is only positive in first and second quadrant, so first and second quadrant, I'm not going to focus on it at all. Okay, so I know that sine is all will also be negative in the third quadrant. Now again, we are going to use the concept of reflection, where this angle is my where this line is my mirror line. Okay, and I'm going to reflect it. So when I reflect it, the angle that I've made is this. We're not going to use that negative 17.46. We're not going to use that negative, but we will use this particular concept that this particular distance that I have is away from 180 is 17.46. Okay, now comes the next part. We measure the angle always from 0 and in anti-clockwise direction. So that means from 0 to this angle will be, how do I find this angle? Is, if you notice, it makes 180 degree, right? Plus something gives me the angle that I'm looking for. So it will be 180 plus 17.46 degrees. So use your calculator. Okay, see, in your exam you are given a calculator, so make full use of it. You don't have to use mentally. Degrees. So the value of my x, now is it in the range that they have mentioned in the question? Yes, it's in the range. They wanted an angle between, two angle between 0 to 360. We got two angles which is between 0 to 360. Okay, so therefore x is equal to 197.46 degrees and 342.54 degrees. How do we check whether answer is correct? Is you substitute the value of x, see whether it is coming somewhere closer to negative 0.3. Yes, it does. So for 197.46, it does come closer to negative 0.3. Let me just quickly check for 342.54. Yes, it does. So both our answers are correct. Okay, I hope this particular concept you got an idea of how to do this. I'll give you a question for you to practice. So you just try it out whether you are able to get it. So here is the question. Sine x is equal to negative 3 by 5. This is the fourth question. See whether you're able to find the value of x. There should be two values of x. Okay, and do remember that if this quantity is a negative value, sine of x is a negative value, understand that this sign does not lie in, sorry, this x does not lie in the first and the second quadrant. It will lie in this third and the fourth quadrant. So make sure that you find the value which is in third and the fourth quadrant. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining, and we will discuss this in the next video. See you later. Bye.